good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lena Yelen Frechen, and I am the founder of Mind Candy Beauty, which is a multimedia platform and community created to celebrate, elevate, and amplify Black and POC voices and stories across beauty and fashion. So I'm so excited to welcome you all today to today's conversation, From Ideas to Impact, Creativity and Careers in Beauty, presented by Spelman College, Career Planning and Development, and shout out to Michelle, who is in the front for being, yes, she's not in here, she's in the front, but there's Michelle, she's right in the back, for being such an amazing partner. And we did this in partnership with, of course, Mind Candy Beauty and the DreamHER internship podcast. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you to our guest. So to the far left of me, we have Lena Yelen Frechen, and she's a next generational digital strategist, mentor, and founder of LYF Socials, a boutique global social media agency turning creatively driven ideas into measurable growth. After immigrating from Germany to New York City with only a single suitcase, y'all, and no connections, Lena transformed grit into growth building, an agency that has already generated nearly 1 billion impressions and left a lasting cultural impact. And beyond her client work, Lena is a trusted mentor and advisor to rising creators and founders.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here today with all of you. It's an honor. I'm so excited. Thank you all for joining.
And then we have Ms. Tosha Thompson, founder and CEO of LYS Beauty, and who is a disruptor redefining clean beauty. With over 25 years of experience as a makeup artist, beauty executive, and product developer, she launched LYS in 2021 to challenge industry norms, proving that clean, high performance, and inclusive beauty can coexist. And as the first Black-owned clean makeup brand at Sephora, LYS has expanded globally with viral bestsellers and earning Allure Best of Beauty awards. A passionate speaker and educator, Tosha is committed to making beauty more accessible and ensuring everyone feels seen, securing her spot to Inc.'s 2022 Female Founders 100 list and named the 2024 Entrepreneurista 100 Innovator of the Year. Y'all, I had to read all of that off the card because I want to get everyone's, credentials right. So without further ado, we're gonna get into it. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Amazing. So we'll start with you, Tosha, and this is for both of you. So when you think about your journey from idea to impact, what was the first spark that made you believe your idea could become a real brand?
I think the spark for me was the consistent narrative that I continue to see in the space, having been a makeup artist and having been on the executive side for a long time, really managing and driving and growing beauty brands. I was able to talk and see and communicate with a lot of consumers, and I felt like there was an overarching theme of people not feeling seen, not feeling represented. I think just the evolution of how beauty has evolved, it just continued to get more and more negative, I think, for consumers. And people weren't really feeling good when they were experiencing beauty. They were frustrated. They didn't know how to use products. Things didn't seem easy. It didn't seem to work for them. Campaigns and marketing didn't target them. So I just felt like, it was more than just personal. It seemed like this was a universal issue. And so I was like, there's just a huge white space and really redefining what beauty means and the standard of what beauty has been portrayed. So I wanted to kind of attack that, and I did that, by creating LYS, which stands for Love Yourself, by the way.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Lena?
By the way, I think it's so funny, LYS and LYF.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm making sure I'm saying everyone's right.
But I love Yourself, so LYF actually stands for my name, it's my initials.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
But yeah, I'm so happy to be here. My story and my spark, I think I have to give a little context. So I'm from Germany, as I mentioned, and I moved to New York by myself with one suitcase. Don't ask me how I just moved with one suitcase. 3 years ago, and I quit my job as a journalist in Germany to basically move to an uncertain life. But I always felt like there's more for me. I always felt like my story is not done in Germany. I want to, live in New York. Also, to me, it's very personal because I realized growing up in Germany, I was never surrounded by women of color. And when I first visited New York, I was so impressed. And I was like, oh my God, wow, I see all these beautiful, inspiring women, and I want to be part of it. Anyway, so my first night in New York, my apartment was empty, it was cold, and I had to cover myself with my own coat as a blanket. And I was laying there thinking, oh my God, what am I even doing here? Was this a good idea to quit my job, my safe job as a journalist? But also being a journalist before, I always loved storytelling, so it's one of my biggest passions. And also, just to connect with people. And I think storytelling can really change lives, can change brands and careers in general. And when I started here as a social media manager, someone told me, oh wow, you're not only managing my account, you're actually translating who I am. And that's when I realized, I think it can actually grow into a company and also really, I can really build something big and have an impact.
Mm-hmm. And when did you start LYF?
2.5 years ago.
Okay, wow, and it's already grown to nearly 1 billion impressions, which is amazing. So obviously you guys both lead with purpose, right? So how would you define purpose-driven entrepreneurship?
I mean, for me, it's really just being myself and being authentic. I think just leading with what's important to me in everything that we do, from our product development to our creative, just to how we communicate with our community. I think just leading with, the intention and the authenticity that we possess and what we want to evoke to our consumers really allows us to kind of remain purpose-driven. I think that's the most important thing. I think another thing that's important, I talk to a lot of young entrepreneurs, and a lot of times it's maybe for the money or for the success or the fame or the accolades or the awards. And I think, if you lead with purpose, those things become, the result. But I think, the reality is you really need to do it for, what your intention is, and that's to change or transform whatever you're trying to do or bring your idea, to life. So don't be led by specifically the results itself that will come. Just stick to your why, stick to what's important to you. And I think you'll always remain purpose-driven in what you do.
Mm-hmm. So true. I so agree with you. I think also to me it's really building from intention and not ego. I see it, we work with a lot of influencers, and to me, I see it on a daily basis. I think beauty is very personal, and it's really showing your identity, showing cultures, and also how you show up in the world. And when I start working with someone, I always ask for the why. Like, what is the why behind? Why do you want to create? Who are you trying to speak to? What is your inspiration? So I think that's where it starts. And purpose definitely also builds trust in general. What is your purpose? Why are you, again the why, but really why are you doing what you're doing? What is your purpose behind? I have, for instance, I think if it's too perfect, right, it's, it can be like a beautiful ad, but if it's too perfect, it might feel a bit empty. So I had, for instance, a client reaching out to me and said, hey, Lena, I'm having all these beautiful videos, and I really think I'm doing a great job, but I don't have any engagement, and I don't make any sales. So what is going on? And I looked at her account. So she's a beauty content creator and skincare creator, but she always used filters. So I never saw her real face on social media. I only saw the filters. Okay, that's not authentic. We need to change. It's like no filters anymore.
Sometimes you get a little crazy with the Facetune,
Yes, exactly. But if you really want to promote skincare, I need to see the real face, right? Mm-hmm. So we switched her brand. We also, I think it's really, a brand needs to be humanized. So that's where my company also comes in. And we included her family, and we just wanted to make sure, to really show the person behind. And I think in general, when you work on your purpose, purpose makes it real. I think purpose is what we, need online, what we need when building brands. So just very important.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And Tosha, this is for you. So LYS Beauty obviously broke barriers as the first Black-owned clean beauty brand at Sephora. So how did you navigate that kind of pressure? Because let alone being the first anything and then being the first Black, add that to it, and more pressure, anything, while staying true to your vision.
I mean, I think it's great that we were able to kind of break that ceiling and kind of open or crack that door. I think it's unfortunate that it took as long, and I was kind of shocked that we were the first, and we launched in 2021. I was like, wow, really? There's not been another brand? all these years. But I mean, for me, it's really exciting because now, like I said, we were able to kind of crack that door so people can like, you know, blaze through it. And that to me is like the most important thing, is how can we now take those sort of initiatives and the credibility that we're building to mentor and guide and get more brands. So, you know, we're the first, but we don't want to be the last. We want there to be more brands like us transforming the space and creating products that work for everybody, and really promoting the importance of women of color in beauty. And so it's been really great, you know, being able to kind of lead that charge, if you will. But I think for us, you know, we really just ultimately want to, you know, be the change. And so whether we're the first or not, like, this is something that we feel like is so important, and you know, we're mission based. Our intentionality is really changing the narrative around beauty. We want people to understand that, you know, we don't use makeup to fix who we are. We use makeup to, you know, inspire us to be ourselves as a form of therapy or self-expression. It's a creative outlet for many of us. And, you know, we deserve to be seen in campaigns. We deserve to be seen in, you know, in retail stores and on shelves. And so being able to take that leap and be that first, now there's so many others sitting next to me. And it's actually very like a proud moment for me, to be able to now witness so many other brands being given the same opportunity.
I love that. I love that there's no sense of like competition. You want to help.
It's all about collaboration.
brands.
Honestly, there's so much room for all of us. You know, I really truly believe that. And you know, for me, it's you know, there's so much work to be done, and it's a little overbearing for one to have to absorb and do it all. And so I welcome like so many other brand founders to come in and like, let's, you know, blaze this path together. And we have generations of trauma and challenges that Black women have dealt with when it comes to beauty and not being seen and not being accepted, and, you know, fitting into other cultures or using other you know, cultures as the reference of what's beautiful. I mean, there's so many traumas that we have to get over, that it's just going to take a lot of us to kind of band together to rewrite that narrative and reshape the mindset of all of us, to say, listen, like, we're beautiful in how we are and how we're created, and you know, we're only gonna, you know, support and get behind brands that see us and that represent us and that take consideration when they, you know, make products for us. Like, all of these things are very intentional in how we move as you know, Black women, just to make sure that, you know, then, you know, there's a responsibility that they have to continue to evolve, because, you know, otherwise, you know, without us, it's very hard to be successful.
True. Yeah. And why clean beauty? Why did you decide to go that route?
You know, it's interesting because personally, I have very sensitive skin. So, you know, a lot of things disrupted and irritated my skin. But I think what we, you know a lot more now, there's a lot more education, but what we didn't realize is that, you know, a lot of the products that were being served to us were 2 times more harmful, with chemicals and ingredients that were really disruptive to us than other populations. And so, you know, when you talk about ingredients that, you know, cause cancer, that can disrupt your endocrine system, that really do, you know, have an impact on our health and our well-being, you know, those products were really being targeted to our community. And there were not a lot of options that were removing those ingredients that worked for our skin tones. And so it was a very intentional, you know, underrepresentation, very intentional. And so for me, you know, I had challenges. I mean, and I'm talking, in product development, working in an industry for 15 years, and I had a hard time finding products that I felt good about using every single day. And so I'm like, well, you know, and I'm pretty close to it. I understand what these ingredients do. I understand how they work.
Because you started as a makeup artist.
Because I started as a makeup artist, and then getting into the labs and working with chemists and understanding, you know, just more in how formulations work and ingredients. It, you know, for me, it was just like, it's important. There's things that it's just, there's no reason really to have them other than maybe it creates an experience that people assume is a better experience, like a fragrance or, but for me, it always broke me out. So I'm like, I'm not going to use it. And then, so it was really just a combination of just wanting something different and better and having the ability for us to have options. I really think that at the end of the day, some things work, for some people that don't work for others. Something that may break me out may not break someone else out. I think the most important thing and thread behind both of those scenarios is that there's choices, right? And before, there weren't very many choices. You just get what you get. And for us, we deserve options, right? And so I just wanted to be another option.
I love that, because I feel like a lot of times people just think about the shade ranges, but it's also thinking about, okay, our skin can show up differently.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. And
So much, yeah.
Lena, this is for you. So as you were saying earlier, LYF Socials helps founders find their own brand voice and brand identity. So what's your process for translating someone's vision into digital storytelling that actually connects?
So I think my process starts with people before platforms. It's really getting to know you as a person. So I need to understand you, right? I need to understand your values, your story, the emotions behind a brand. I always, no matter how big you are, like for instance, one of my clients, he has 600 employees. I still told him I need time to sit down with you. I know you're very busy, but I need to get you. I need to get your brand and how it all started. Also it's important to understand and to analyze the audience. How does your audience currently feel? How do you want them to feel? What are they maybe, afraid of? What is for them inspiring? So that's also to me very important. And then it's basically building a narrative bridge. So it's, okay, I got to know you as a founder, and then I have to basically turn your story, your founder story, into content that resonates with your audience, into content that feels human also. I always say when someone asks me, we just had a conversation earlier today with this beautiful lady over there who has their own also skincare brand. I think it's, when you build your presence, I always say see your platform as a digital magazine. So I want to see, what does a magazine include? We have the educational part, we have the entertaining part, and all aspects that I also think are important to include online. And then I think it's, for instance, I'm a big fan of signature series. So for instance, one of my clients, her name is Dorothy Wang, and we worked on a series for her, Wang Way or No Way. So we talk about skincare, but for instance, I ask her questions like, moisturizer, Wang Way or No Way, and she loves moisturizer, so it's like Wang Way. So I really like also including a signature series in your content, and really finding your own voice. Don't try to copy anyone. I think your brand voice is really the heartbeat of everything.
Mm-hmm. That's very true. Yeah. So obviously we talked about, like, once the idea takes shape, you need to keep it alive. So let's kind of talk about that creative process for both of you. So what inspires your creative process, and how do you stay creative when things do feel stagnant and stressful? Because it's business, things are up, things are down.
Yeah, it could get hard, and you could kind of just feel like it's a lot of the same. And for me, I really do rely a lot on the community. I try to get out of my office and go to events, meet people, go to the stores, talk to the consumers, actually almost like secret shop sometimes, or even just be a worker. A lot of times people don't know that I'm, who I am. And so I would just be there working the store and the product, and teaching people and seeing what people want, and then just kind of chatting and getting inspired and asking what they would like, or what would they like to see different. So I get a lot of inspiration that way, a ton of inspiration from culture. I'm inspired by fashion, I'm inspired by home decor, things that really may not necessarily be in the beauty space specifically, but it may, strike, something creative in me, like a texture or a finish, or, something I may see like on like a fragrance bottle, or I love alcohol bottles. Not a drink.
Some of them have really pretty designs.
But I love some of the bottles are beautiful, and the finishes that they use, and how they kind of print on some of the labels and stuff. So I just kind of get inspired and pull from a bunch of different places, just to not be stagnant, you know, and not be a sea of sameness. And you know, one of the things that, you know, when I launched the business, I wanted to make sure, like, what was that really unique creative element that we could do to stand out? Because, you know, you go into a Sephora or an Ulta and there's like tons of beauty products that all look similar. And so we launched our products in triangle packaging, which is very unique and different in beauty, and also very intentional. But, you know, I just feel like it's important to be a little disruptive with your creative and your visuals. And although it could have like an aesthetic that's very calming and different, or, you know, it just needs to not be the same all the time, because I think people get bored. I would say it's the goldfish effect, and, you know, we move on really, really quickly, and you need to be able to kind of keep people's attention.
I will say the Spelman ladies earlier were saying they love the applicator to the oil.
Oh, thank you. Yay.
And Lena, what about you?
So Lyric and I, we actually recently launched a new project, Things That Fill Our Own Cup, and which is all about, you know, really taking care of yourself and how to stay creative while you're running around. You know, you also mentioned today you were at an event earlier today than now here, and then you have another event after. So we are all, all out and about, and there's a lot of different projects and things on our minds, I think. And to me, for instance, so I just have to give a little backstory here. When I started LYF, I worked 7 days a week and usually 12 to 15 hours per day. And this worked for a while until it suddenly didn't anymore. So I remember I was offered to work on an amazing campaign. And now the campaign is live by now, and I looked at it and I was like, oh my God, I wish I would have been part of it, but I had to turn it down back then. Not because I didn't want to be part of it, but my creativity was gone. I didn't have any ideas left. So that's when I realized I need to take care of myself, and I really need to prioritize my mental health, and I need to set boundaries, because this is not gonna, you know, how can I basically build the business of my dreams if I'm burning out while doing it? If my creativity is gone, how's my business gonna succeed, you know? And this is when I really try to work on a work-life integration. So I always say I don't really believe in work-life balance. To me, it's just an integration, and to me, it starts with small things. So, for instance, my non-negotiables when I wake up in the morning is, first thing I do is pray, then I journal, then I exercise. I started to exercise regularly. If somebody would have told me this a year ago, yes, I'm so proud of myself. But this is now actually a big part of my, you know, I'm at gym, and then while I'm at gym, I'm listening to podcasts, or I'm, you know, listening to music, or some inspirational speeches, which I love too. So those are things that are inspiring me, or, you know, talking to my grandparents in Germany, I call them a lot. I have therapy, and also having someone once per week that checks in with me and also holds me accountable of, hey, did you take time of yourself this week, or were we just running around, is really good for me. And then also creativity through, you know, also, as you said, going to events, to connect with others, to connect with women like you two today. You know, this is inspiring me now. I already feel very inspired. So really also making time for things that bring you joy is important, I think. And also always to keep in mind that your energy is an investment, and you really have to be mindful of who has access to your energy and to yourself.
Yeah, health is wealth, and mental health, everyone is health, you know?
For sure.
So we've been talking a lot about brand identity. So both of your brands do have strong visual identities. I mean, I knew you were going to come up with the pink, so I was like, LYS, she has to come with pink. So how intentional were you about the designs from the start, whether it's packaging, logos, and how has that evolved?
Yeah, I was super intentional with my design. You know, the brand name, you know, that was kind of the initial ideation. And so I knew, you know, having a brand that I wanted to be rooted around the narrative of, you know, changing how people think about makeup, not using it to fix who you are, you know, but to embrace your unique identity. And I felt like the Love Yourself name really worked really strong with that, because that was the goal, is to remind people of. And then it's like, well, how do we have a package that's unique, that's different, that stands out, but that also aligns with that same intention? And so the triangle is the delta symbol, which is where that stemmed from, and the delta symbol means change. And it's about, reminding people every time they hold a product from LYS, it's that spark and that reminder that you have the power today to change how you talk and treat yourself. Like, you are important, love yourself, those self-affirmations, those things that we have to fill ourselves with. We spend the most time with ourselves, and sometimes we can be the harshest to ourselves, not treat ourselves as we should. So all of our products, even when you reach for a blush, for example, and you reach for your bronzer, and it's called Worthy, it's called Strength, you have your powder, and it's ambition and resilience, and you're looking at all of these words like your highlighter, and you're putting it on, and it's fearless. Like, these are intentional words that we created. So that it's a reminder every single day when you're in your routine, you're spending that time with yourself to just remind you, you're getting ready to go out to a world that's already challenging and rough. We don't need to do that to ourselves. This is the time that we need to have to really uplift ourselves. And so that was all a part of the intention around every single thing that we created, we ideate, we make, so that narrative and that messaging really flows through every thread of the brand. Like, it's very important to me. I always say, if we don't sell a single product, if we change someone's mindset and we help one person be able to be a more confident person in their lives, like, that's ultimately the goal for the brand.
I love how the names of your products are affirmations.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah, I love it. So for me, LYF, as I mentioned, stands for my initials. I just wanted something timeless, like something modern, chic, also something that feels in a way effortless but elevated. But you know how I started, so I remember I was sitting in my room in my tiny New York City apartment, and I was experimenting on Canva. I was like, okay, no, this doesn't look good. Let me try this again, and so on. But I really always knew I wanted something, very timeless, very chic, that I look at also in a few years and still enjoy it, because I also think when you think about a brand name, I'm not sure how many of you are, trying to want to become an entrepreneur. Don't try to hop on something just because it's trendy, right? Really, for instance, your name, LYS, Love Yourself, is amazing. Also with the affirmations, I think that's so beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you.
What about you? What about Mind Candy Beauty?
Oh, okay. Bounce back question. Actually, my mom is in the audience, and she, yes, round of applause. And she and I were sitting in the kitchen here in Atlanta, because I was born and raised in Atlanta, even though I'm based in New York. And I always knew, like, as a Black woman in beauty, because I work on the corporate side as well at a beauty brand, I was like, there are some gaps here. And it's one thing for a brand to externally, put out the campaigns, all the things, but it's like, okay, what's going on internally? That's really what's important. Who's making the decisions? How many people of color are in the rooms? So I was like, I really want to create a community here. So with Mind Candy Beauty, I was like, obviously, I want it to be in beauty. And with beauty, it's like, okay, eye candy is a term that people use a lot, but beauty isn't just about the visual, it's also about the mind and the mental. So we're like, okay, let's just do like a flip, play on words, and say Mind Candy Beauty. So that's where it came about.
I love that. That's perfect.
I love the question back on me. So Lena, I'm going to bounce it right back to you.
No.
So what social and digital trends should beauty founders be paying attention to right now, do you think?
So actually, something that's very interesting what we worked on with the client is, so I think we all know the importance of AI, and I think we all already include it in our day-to-day life to make processes easier. and to also just ask quickly a question. I have one of my clients, for instance, just to say quickly, we had a red carpet event on Monday, and she asked ChatGPT quickly, tell me who this person is. So, I think we use it daily, and it's easy for us to just get quick answers. But apart from that, it's, for instance, one of our clients, she's traveling always worldwide, and it's really hard for me to get her in front of the camera. So we actually worked on an avatar of her. So I know, so the avatar looks exactly like her. It took us a while to really make the avatar have the same face expressions and really act like her. And I wouldn't say, especially in beauty, I don't think we still need real faces and we need real skin, but for her it's really helpful for educational content to post about. So that's something I think we all, know the importance of AI, but we all should know we have to use it responsibly, and it's basically, I think, humanizing AI. And then also in general, I would say it's really important to be just 100% yourself, be you. Really, I think founder-led storytelling is really important, and also to be a bit more vulnerable, show the imperfect moments too, because we're all tired of just highlight reels, right? We really want to see imperfect moments because people resonate to this way more. I have, for instance, one of my clients, he's a celebrity stylist, and we started posting about his journey, about his family story, about how he grew up and why, about his identity and his thoughts in general. And this resonates so amazing. The responses are incredible. The same, for instance, another client of mine, he is a beauty and fashion creator, and he has a lot of collaborations with Dior or Chanel, so it looks all very luxury, but I was missing his side. I was missing the human side, because whenever I see him in person, he's such a fun person, and he loves to dance, and he's so fun to be around, but on his socials, I just saw the cool, it just seemed a bit cold. So now we really try to, instead of him just showing outfits, we have dance transitions, or we show him dancing while getting ready for getting his makeup done and so on. So it's really, just show yourself, really think about what makes you actually happy and how you want people to feel when they also, either watch your content or buy your products. What is the feeling that you want to create?
Yeah, and I think the keyword is authenticity, because consumers and people can see right through the fake highlight reel.
Right. Yeah, no filters anymore, just real stars.
So, Tosha, bouncing it back to you, how does storytelling show up in your product launches and campaigns?
This is interesting because the brand has really had its own identity. When I first launched it, I didn't want to be the face. I really didn't want to really have to, be the one on camera telling it. And thankfully it resonated because of the mission and the purpose and the story, and we were able to align with content creators and storytell visually our messaging. And so we were able to still get some scale. But I think it wasn't until, my mentor was like, excuse me, like, why do I not see your face on your social, and why are you not elevating the brand by telling the story and the intention and the purpose and the goal behind it? And, of course, I'm leading with, I don't want to be, that, face of my brand. I really just like being behind the scenes. I'm very passionate and I nerd out when it comes to like all of the things. And I love a good spreadsheet, and I am just, a lot of people don't realize with the backstory with me is I actually was a makeup artist, but that was my side hustle. I was an accountant. That's what I did as my full-time job. And I actually, really loved beauty and wanted to be in beauty, and I was able to really merge my way onto the corporate side through the accounting lane, and still just worked at like Mac on the weekends and really fueled that passion while having my full-time income. But thankfully the worlds were able to collide, and now we're here. But I would say like that's a story that everyone is like, you have to tell, you have to share. People need to understand like the why behind it. And I think a lot of times that doesn't come across in a carousel, right? That doesn't always come across in, and, you know, just want, you know, a great formula, you know. It's great that the product is great and that people love it, but I think when you understand who created it, why they created it, what the goal was behind them creating it, then the affinity is really powerful. And you're like, wow, not just do I love, you know, more about the brand, but now maybe I want to go check out more things from the brand or see what else they're into or follow, and it creates affinity. And so storytelling builds connection, it builds emotion. It really allows you to align with things that really resonate to you and that are really, you know, I call them soul food, like things that really feed your soul. Mm-hmm. You know, we buy things every single day and just kind of nonchalantly and don't really have a clue what they stand for, what it means. And I think how beautiful or amazing could it be if there's intention behind some of the things that we put our money towards, and knowing that those things are not only, you know, fueling an amazing movement like what we're doing, like what you're doing, you know, and being able to put your intention and your support behind that. But it's hard for a consumer, or you even to expect a consumer to do that if you're quiet, if you're not sharing it, if they don't know. And so I had to kind of step a little bit back from behind the curtain a little bit, not too much, but just enough to really be able to share those values, because, you know, the important thing they said is like, you're spending hours, countless hours, being so intentional down to like the name of something. Like, why would you lose the opportunity to share the importance of that and why you did that? Like, it's just so powerful. You can't not. So I've embraced storytelling. I've embraced kind of stepping out and being the one to tell the story. And I've seen a major transformation in my business. The opportunities and just the things that we have been invited to be a part of now that people understand a lot more about
who you are,
about who we are through the impact of the stories that we've been telling.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So I kind of want to zoom out a bit and talk about the bigger picture of like leadership, growth, and kind of finding your lane in this industry. So as founders, you've worn and still wear so many hats. So what's one leadership lesson you wish someone had told you guys earlier?
I think for me it's okay not to know everything, and give your team space to thrive. So I remember when I started, it was really hard for me to find the right people for my team, people who understood my passion, the vision behind. It was very frustrating in between, not gonna lie. But you know, now I'm actually, most of our team members are part of the team for at least 2 years. And it's just an amazing feeling to have now a team that I trust and fully trust, because this changed everything. You know, also, like today I didn't work, I was just enjoying Atlanta because it's my first time in Atlanta, and it just felt like I have my team by my side who takes care of everything. I know everything is under control, they just send me updates from meetings and so on. So I think also, I'm talking about my team, it's to me, giving people opportunities before they're ready. You know, I had, for instance, a call today with one of my coordinators, and he said, "Thank you so much for trusting in me." And to me, it's really also celebrating your team loudly. I love celebrating my team. You know, we are a team together, and also the reason why LYF is successful is because I have these people by my side. And then also, I think what is important, or what I also learned, is definitely build your relationships even before you start. You know, your relationships are everything, and surround yourself with people that are more successful than you are. So to me, it's, you know, really learning. I love challenges, people that challenge me. I love being inspired, and surround yourself by people that, you know, inspire you, that also hold you accountable in between, and it's okay to ask for help in between. I think that's also mind.
Yeah, I would agree with all of that. Definitely, I would say team is top of list. You know, and delegating is important. Mm-hmm. You know, I think that's something that as a young new entrepreneur, I was there too.
I still struggle with that.
You want to do everything yourself. And we all say it's our baby. But even as a parent, I'm a mom of 2. When you have a baby, you need a date night. You need I need a movie night, a dinner night. Even then, you need a babysitter, somebody to step in and give you time away. So I look at it the same way as your brand. Delegation is so important and critical, especially when you want to scale. I will say the one thing about beauty is the barrier to entry is very low. It's very easy to get into, very, very easy. I mean, you can start a brand, overnight. Like, it's very easy to start. What's very difficult is to scale. It's extremely difficult to scale. And scale can mean differently for everyone, but ultimately, are you a brand that accelerates? I even say, a multi-million-dollar, business to be able to sustain, multiple years and generations. So that requires a really good team. And I think one of the lessons I've learned is, the team you may have when you start may be a different team than you're going to have when you're, in the mid-cycle of your journey, and a different team as you get bigger, and being able to truly evaluate your team. But having people to help you, and people always ask, what did you do to start? And it's like, I just reached out to, people who I felt like, wanted to be a part, or that reached out to me that wanted to be a part, and just asked them to do part-time hours. Like, can you just do 2 or 3 hours, a day, or even like 5 hours a week, just to help me with these tasks? Something digestible that I can manage, but it took some things off, and then it allows you to then be able to continue to focus and scale your business. So team is really important. And I would have to absolutely agree about networking. The reality is, you really do, you need to be learning constantly, and you need to be making those connections to be able to accelerate your growth. And that just means meeting new people, making connections. You never know what one person can do. They can introduce you to someone, they can unlock something you've been trying to figure out, or you can teach you something new, open another door for you. So the power of mentorship and networking is like so important. So those are the 2 things that I would definitely say to focus on. I think, those are the most important.
And what advice would you give young women who are listening today that want to start in the beauty industry but might not know where to start, whether it's on the corporate side, because you had that experience, or even starting their own beauty brand? Yeah,
I would say, get as close to proximity of the vertical as you can. Get as close to beauty as you can. And that can be in a bunch of different ways. You can be a content creator, you can be an intern, you can work at a retail store. Try to get involved in the industry in some capacity, because then, you can be a sponge and really learn, and then that will then compound for the next opportunity. For me, that was kind of the way I kind of backdoored. Like, I worked at the retail side, but I was in accounting. So it's like, how do you then transition? Because they're like, oh, the accountant can do makeup. Like, nobody thinks that that's true. Everybody's just like, she's like,
they're like,
right.
Are you sure you want the accountant to do your makeup?
And so, to be able to have been an accountant for a beauty brand, now I'm in the door, right? And now I can have those conversations, and I can say, hey, I'd like to apply for this opportunity or that opportunity, and that's what I did. I was a staff accountant. I made the decision to take a demotion to do a marketing coordinator role. But for me, it was like, I knew it was what I wanted to do, and I was worth every single day of taking that step back so that I can move 10 steps forward. And, I went from, financial statements and, really being in meetings with leadership on, the growth of the business more on the financial side, to getting coffee and opening stores. But I was not too proud, because it was what I wanted to do. I wanted to be in marketing, and I wanted to learn, and I just wanted to be able to get that insight that I knew would come with getting on that side of the house. And then I was able to get into product development, and then I was able to kind of continue to accelerate. So, you know, taking those stepping stones and learn. I always give the example, it's like, I love pizza, but I'm not gonna go start a pizza shop. I wouldn't know the first thing about running a pizza shop. I'm probably gonna fail or fall flat on my face, or it's gonna take me a very long time. I'm gonna make a lot of expensive mistakes. So I would probably go work at a pizza shop, or I would go, you know, find a pizza owner and ask him if I could mentor, if he would mentor me, stuff like that, you know? So I just think that those are, you know, avenues and steps that you have to take to really bet on yourself to be able to get in the door, but you need to be in the proximity of the space, for sure.
I feel like even your accounting background too, when you go into scaling your own business and your own brand, you not only have that creative side, but also the financial side, and you really know what you need to do.
So many roles support beauty. I think people just think it's product development or just think it's marketing, but there are so many amazing roles. You know, I have, you know, an operations person, I have, you know, administrative assistant, there's a, you know, accounts payable, someone who does my payroll. You know, there's so many avenues that you can be a part of to make your mark in beauty. You may not feel like, you know, oh, I want to do marketing or makeup specifically, but I love beauty. I love it as a consumer. I love what it stands for. I love how it makes me feel. But I'm in finance or I'm an engineer. You know, there's a lot of elements that support beauty, you know, packaging engineers, you know, product engineers. There's so many things that you can do to still be in the space versus just the traditional makeup artist or, you know, product developer.
And both of your careers show that there's really no linear path. You zigged, you zagged, you zagged some more, and then ended up where you guys are now. So how can students find their lane and build credibility earlier on?
I think there's not really like, you know, a right path to follow. I also don't think you should look at someone else's success story and just like, okay, I'm just gonna do exactly the same, because no, you have to find your own lane. But what you also mentioned before, I think it's really important to learn from others. And to build credibility, go to events, you know, show up, talk to the people that are already someone in the industry, support each other. For instance, I've done so many internships in my life. Like I started in a hotel, I worked there in a kitchen, and that's how I also, you know, started to learn communication skills. Then I lived in Australia for a while and worked there for a charity organization. That's when I learned to communicate also from when you come from different cultures. My team also now is very international. And I still volunteer nowadays because I still need to learn. You know, there's never an ending of learning, and I feel like, especially also nowadays, from my perspective, very often people think, yeah, but I post on my own TikTok, so I am a content creator. But there's so much more behind than just, you know, just posting a TikTok. So I just really think, learn, never stop learning, and, you know, also start, for instance, documenting your journey. Think about what inspires you. Which aspect also of beauty is the aspect that, you know, inspires you the most? As you said, there are so many different areas that you can tap into, and so many internship options also. So it's really, you know, credibility starts with connecting with others, learning from others, never stop learning. I'm just going to say it over and over again. And yeah, I think these are the most important things for me.
And I love that you've had internships in so many different industries, you know, because it shows that you never know where you're going to get those lessons from.
Never know. And I would say for that, like, the lane, as long as it may sometimes feel it could take, it always reveals itself when you, in my opinion, focus on two major things. One, your strengths. So identifying the things that you're good at, right? Like, what are things that you're naturally good at, and try to evolve something or a role or your skill set, or, you know, your long-term career path around that skill. And then the second thing is what brings you joy. You know, I think it's so important, especially in this day and age, to find things that bring you joy. You know, it's just, there's a lot of things sucking the joy away. And so it's so important for us to find the things that give us joy. And I always tell the story, you know, I started this brand specifically the vision and the dream was always there, but the reason I actually started was I lost my dad, and that was like a shock because it was so unexpected, to where it really shook me to my core and realized like life is really short and you only get one go of this, right? And so you have to really walk through this life doing things that really make you happy. And somebody said to me, it's like, if this was your last day here, like what is the one thing you wish you would have done? Then go do that thing. Like that is how you should live every single day. And so finding a career and a job that you wake up in the morning excited to go to. Like I am so blessed that I always tell people I don't work. Like I have a career, I have a job, but this is not work for me. This is my life's mission, my passion. This is what brings me joy. What do you do for fun? I check my emails. Like I love it. Like I absolutely am having the time of my life. And that is a blessing, and that is the most exciting way to wake up every single day. Because who wants to get up and you're miserable and oh my God, I gotta go to this place? Like, it's like, we have options. Like it feels really difficult right now. It is a rough environment, and there's so many people losing their jobs, and there's so many people being shut out. It's like, create an opportunity that brings you joy. You know, we all faced that during the pandemic. We had nowhere to go. We had no options. Doors were closed. Money was tight. And like the unimaginable amazingness that came out of that generation and that period, when you really think about, you know, I started my brand during the pandemic when women and everyone were wearing masks. Everybody said I was out of my mind. You're psycho. Everybody's wearing masks and you're creating lip gloss and makeup and foundation. Are you crazy? And I'm like, yeah, I'm crazy. Because this brings me joy. And I think you gotta be a little crazy to be an entrepreneur, do a little bit of what we do. You gotta have a little crazy.
A little deluded.
Just a little deluded.
Not only a little bit.
But it brought me joy. Mm-hmm. And I loved when I said to my husband, I was like, I'm gonna do this. And everybody else was like, And I loved that he used the quote or the message or mantra, burn the boats. And we use that now. It's like, just be all in. Like, you know, like we can figure it out. Like, you know, I'll find my way if it doesn't work out. Mm-hmm. But like, it's not worth not trying. It's not worth not taking the risk, because I will regret it if I don't. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's what I would tell young people who are ready to get started. Just like start.
And I also think I love what you said, because there will always be people who doubt your dreams, or people who try to talk you out of your dreams. You know, also me, when I quit my job in Germany, everyone was like, "Are you crazy? Like, why would you do that? Why would you quit your steady income, your life in Germany to move to the unknown, basically?" You know, but I think also being entrepreneurs, you definitely have to believe in yourself and also in your dreams. I always say, to the point of delusion, because you just have to be your own biggest supporter. Yeah. Like, you have to be your own biggest supporter, because there are going to be so many times when it's hard and when you don't have anyone who believes in the vision that you see, right? The vision that you saw back then. Yeah. So you have to be your own biggest supporter, and you also have to start, I would say, before. So people ask me often, but when do I know if I'm ready to start? And exactly, and I was listening to something recently where someone said, well, you will never feel ready to start, because ready is not a feeling, it's a decision. And yes, it's so true. Mm-hmm. So
true. Very true.
Yes, love that. You got the All right, so before we wrap, let's touch on the heart of it all, which is representation and impact, right? So what does equity in beauty and digital marketing look like to you, and how are you building it into your work? So beauty for you, digital marketing for you.
Yeah. So for us, beauty, you know, is really it's our foundation. A lot of brands and a lot of companies, I think, use it as a line item. But for us, it is really the foundation of everything that we do. I really feel like, you know, we shouldn't really have to fight to be a part of things. It just should already be, and that's why we make sure that we're very inclusive in everything that we do, right? From our product assortment, the campaigns that we create, our accessible price point. Like, it's important to make sure that everyone can really be a part of the conversation. So it's just our foundation. It's just the fabric of who we are. I mean, there's just no other way to put it. It's just not a question. It's a part of everything we do.
From my perspective, I think equity in beauty, also as an immigrant, is really to create spaces where people feel seen, where everyone feels seen, and it's also for LYF what we, our clientele is so diverse. We work with clients across continents, from different cultures, all age groups. I have a skincare client who is 55 and is encouraging her age group to just live out, be confident in themselves. Then I have a Gen Z client, she is 21 and she also has her 1 million followers on TikTok who also follow her for her skincare routine. So to me, equity in beauty means we have so many different women that are looking for also someone who represents their self, who shows their side of beauty, and that's what we are doing. That's our, I think it's important to create more access, more resources, and to make sure that also next generations see all versions of beauty, because there are so many versions of beauty.
Mm-hmm. So this is the last question that we have. So what's next for each of you individually and for your brands, and what's one mantra you'd like to leave this room with?
So for me, so right now we're really focusing on growing. We took a big leap this year and we brought on private equity. So that was a big decision. And with that, comes added expectations and pressures and, push for growth. But it's what I want and it's what I'm really excited about. So expanding the business globally, we're in now 1,600 stores.
Wow. That deserves.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. And just being able to meet consumers where they are so that they have access to connect with us. So really just building an incredible community. So that's really what my focus is. And stepping out a little bit more as well, and being a little bit more present and sharing my why and my story with the world. So those are my big goals and missions. And then a mantra that I would say is, I have so many mantras. Of course, love yourself. That was my first one. It's never too early to start. Start when you're not, even when you're not ready. It's important to just be all in. And I would say the last one is be disruptive. There's only one you in the world, so be that snowflake and claim your stake and go out and change the world.
That's amazing.
For me or for LYF, what's next is we started 2 initiative programs. One is it's basically for women globally who are interested in founding a company. So one of my clients, for instance, she's Turkish German, and we started working together. She's one of my mentees by the beginning of the year, and she just quit her job this summer to start her company actually in Atlanta. So she's gonna move to Atlanta next month. So this is one of my a mentorship program that's really close to my heart. I love also sharing my experiences with the next generation of founders. And then we started a new initiative. It's called LYF Roots, and so my roots are from West Africa. My father is from Guinea, and to me it's really now also time to give back. To my roots. It's a project, basically my love letter to Africa. So we're currently, I just had a meeting on Wednesday with someone from the UN because we are working on, it's really just in baby shoes. So we're working on our soft launch, but it's, really to encourage also African girls who, we have incredible women in Africa with incredible ideas, but we don't get the visibility yet that we deserve. So that's, something that we are working on, and I'm really excited to share more when I'm able to share more. Just in general, I would say my mantra that I want to say here at the end is say yes to yourself. Say yes to yourself, and really say yes to yourself even before the world does. Like, really believe in yourself. Be your own biggest fan. Be your own biggest supporter. And everything is possible if you're just a little bit delusional.
Gotta be a little bit.
And if you surround yourself with people, that are supportive and that have good energy, that's really important. But yeah, say yes to yourself, ladies.
Yes, you guys are absolutely amazing, and thank you for coming on My Candy Beauty platform, and thank you for coming to Spelman, and thank you to Spelman for hosting us in this live taping, and you all for coming. I think we have a Q&A portion. We have time for a couple quick questions if anyone has.
My name is Letitia Jones. I am a graduating senior sociology anthropology major from Flint, Michigan, and I am extremely passionate about the beauty industry. I do have my own beauty brand called Moshe. It's a skincare line dedicated to fighting colorism with love, and this year I'm writing my thesis on just marketing ads and how Black women respond to these things. So I'm like beauty everything. And again, I'm excited to be here today. And I did want to ask you about how you said just being in proximity to beauty. I wanted to know if either of your companies had any openings for internships, as I am a graduating senior. And it's a difficult job market out here. And I have various skills. I worked at L'Oreal last summer in Luxe marketing. So I'm really excited to be here, and again, open to any opportunities that you may have.
That's awesome. So I can answer on my side. So we do have internships. I actually have 2 existing internships. One is a senior and one, I believe, is a junior. So we have ongoing internships, and we do them on a 6-month basis. So they come in, they hang out with us for the 6-month period, and then we transition to new interns. Some of them transition into full-time. I do have a couple interns that were with me that are now full-time employees as well. I would say the best thing to do is apply. We can talk offline. I can send you the place where you can log on, but you can also go on our website and apply as well.
Thank you.
I think you're going to be so successful one day, because you are, also meeting you outside. I think you are so passionate, and you really know what to do to, you're putting, you're putting your name out there.
Take the opportunities.
It's exactly, that's amazing. Yeah. And yes, we also always have options. So we currently have an intern actually from Germany, which is great for me to have someone from home. She actually, I have to say quickly, she's a Black girl from Germany who found me online and sent me a message and said, hey, you're so inspiring. I also feel growing up in Germany, I want to be like you. I want to live in New York, and I want to do all of that. And she was hired right away. So yes, I need you. But yes, we always have opportunities, also 3 to 6 month internship projects. But also 2 of my interns also are now full time with me. So yes, let's talk after.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that question, because I'm interested in internships. So my question for you guys, you talked a lot about connection and networking as well as mentorship. I know you're a mentor. How do you think you find the perfect mentor? What qualities or characteristics do they have? And how do you go about asking or gaining that hands-on mentorship?
Two things. The first thing is a mentor in the, where you want to position yourself. So if you really want to be in beauty, I would definitely find a mentor that's in beauty. I would also find a mentor in a skill that you may want to focus on as well. So if you are trying to do better, like public speaking or networking, or if you're looking to do something specific within beauty, then I would find a mentor that actually specializes or has that skill set or is doing that role specifically as well. I would also recommend, if a lot of times, finding a mentor could be kind of difficult to do. then I would, just find people who may not be, it depends on who you're going for, like as elevated, if that makes sense. Like maybe find a mentor that may be a senior, right? Like you're a junior. So I think sometimes we think a mentor has to be like that person who's like has a company and is doing all these things, but a mentor could be somebody who could just be a couple steps ahead of you. So I think we just want to kind of work our way up sometimes, because sometimes we can get frustrated where it's like, I emailed 20 beauty founders and nobody responded to mentor me. And it's like, it's tough, right? Because they're probably getting a lot of requests, and they're very busy, and there's a lot involved. So yeah, just kind of really make sure you're strategic in who you're looking to for mentorship. But there's a lot of smart people out there. So I think sometimes, peeling back the onion and going a little bit narrower and looking for, a different path of a mentor will probably help you a lot faster than just trying to land one really giant person in the industry.
I'm personally interested in the intersection of beauty and business. I'm really interested in beauty marketing. So my question for the both of you is, what strategies do you take when it comes to marketing your products and speaking to your consumers or customers?
So it's very different at the journey that we're in. So when I first started, we had no money. So how we marketed was very different than how we market today. When I first started, I took the opportunity to use content creators, because I know in beauty it's very important to kind of have the product seen, and that can help accelerate a beauty brand when you don't have a lot of money. But I had like extra samples and products, and so I just reached out and DM'd a lot of creators that had following that were telling the love yourself message, or really where I went after a lot of plus size content creators that aligned with my messaging of not being seen as a plus size Black woman, like finding people who aligned with me from a marketing perspective to help share my story, since I didn't have a lot of followers. And that was kind of how I started with no money, and that really helped me get a ton of YouTube videos about me, and then then it just became like a snowball effect. But today, now that we have investment, we do a lot more strategic things like events, and we do paid advertising, we do affiliate marketing, email marketing, SMS marketing. Like we're really doing a full 360 to like hit consumers in every space. And then more recently, now that we're in retail stores, we started putting beauty educators in stores that are specifically LYS employees that help to educate about our products. Because again, when somebody walks in, there's hundreds of products. How do you get them to know your brand? So that's another form of marketing that we're doing today, but very different, and it's all based on kind of like your journey. But I would start with community first, like building that community, getting that word out, letting that kind of snowball into something greater.
Yeah, I agree. And I also think when you just start, also work with micro influencers, right? Because everyone thinks always, oh my God, I have to work with people that have 100,000 followers or even more. But sometimes it can actually be helpful to work with, content creators that have 5,000 followers, 6,000 followers, and to send them your products to try and to post about it, maybe UGC content also. And then in general, really put your name out there, right? Like be active on different platforms, on TikTok, YouTube Shorts, on Instagram, because this is all great for your SEO. And I think really in general, I need to see the people behind a brand, right? I really need to see your mission and passion behind, and whom are you trying to talk to, who's your ideal client basically.
Hi, I would like to say thank you so much for coming out here. I feel like having a space where we can learn more about beauty from people who look like us and from people who are going through similar things to us is so impactful for young Black girls like myself. My name is Julia Taylor. I am a sophomore chemistry major with a concentration in cosmetics and a minor in entrepreneurship and innovation. I also hope to one day have my own clean beauty business focusing on black shades, focusing on undertones and stuff like that, just to make sure that it's very inclusive to people who look like us and the people around us. My question for you is, how do you make that first step into turning your idea into a business? And for someone who's kind of, I don't want to say I'm young because I'm 19, but for someone that's a sophomore in college, well, I know I'm young.
You are young.
Okay. I know I'm young, but for someone that is graduating in 2 years, I know I can't physically make like any steps now without a lot of experience, but I want to know how, when the time comes to turn my idea into a business.
I know, I always get that question, and like, it's a hard one to answer because it's just, you just have to kind of start, but it's like, well, what does that mean to start? And I think it's really individualized depending on what you're trying to start. So like, you know, if you're starting a skincare company, like it would be like, well, let's talk about like the name and trademarking your name, and let's talk about your logo and your packaging and what's going to go inside in your formula. What's the story? What's the why? What makes your moisturizer different? Like there's all of those things that come with it. So like how to start, it's like kind of a romance, not like it's all the chapters that kind of come together. I would say, you know, one caveat is just do as much research, learn, become a sponge, understanding kind of what you're getting into, what it is that you want to do, and then absorb all of that to be able to then turn it into a product, because as I mentioned, it's very easy to start, but it's very difficult to scale. And so you want to make sure you have that arsenal of knowledge and insight to be able to then take your business into a path of success. So, but there's so many, I would say, like spokes on the wheel, if you will, to really truly start. It's not just one thing to start it. It's like a harmonious number of things that really kind of get it off the ground. So, but hopefully a few of those that I named will be like juice for you to be like, okay, like these are things I know I gotta get going. And if you know you want to do something now too, one thing for me, like I knew my name, I knew I wanted a name many years before. Like think about those sort of things, right? Like in advance, and you can start to like ideate and journal and mood board and do all of these things that you kind of can keep track of these ideas that you have, so that when you are ready to pull the trigger, you have this kind of stockpile of inspiration ready to fuel you.
And also, I would say, you know, as the social media girly here, definitely document your journey. I think, you know, also it's inspiring. You're 19 and you know already have those ideas and plans. I think everyone here is so inspiring. I mean, you know, you're 19, but you already know what you want to do. That's great. So yeah, document your journey. Take videos of you sitting at home, you know, working on your logo or on a name. And then also try to go to events, right? Try to connect with people. That's an amazing step. And also I would say go to travel. Go to, for instance, you know, go to New York, connect there with people. Maybe if you have the opportunity, also travel to Europe, because I also get a lot of inspiration from traveling and from connecting with other people and seeing, you know, what are things that might be missing over there. For instance, we had a conversation earlier where I was saying, well, growing up in Europe, I never had a black beauty brand. I never knew where to get my makeup from. Like my face was always white, you know, like it always looked horrible, my makeup in Germany. So I just feel like there's so much opportunity also in Europe to build for us women that are, you know, black women of color in Europe. We need all of you. We need all of you over there. So I think it's really also about traveling and seeing what is missing in the world, and really to connect with people and to stay in contact with people. Like reach out to them everyone in the while. Just check in, meet for maybe lunch, maybe for coffee, and yeah, just, you know, support each other. And yeah, I think that's what I would give as an advice.
Because the connections you build now, you can take into the future. So it's never too young to start.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
yeah.
Thank you guys.
No problem. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
That wraps it up.
Yeah.